This is Eric Rutan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew McKay Smith.
Greetings all, thanks so much for joining me. I've got a conversation with James Hulse. He's the musician at the centre of an outfit titled From The Haze. Now, the compelling event for the conversation with James is due to the launch of his debut. As you'll hear, the long-awaited album that he's put together under the From The Haze banner. This one's titled My Own Worst Enemy. Now, this is a fantastic conversation for those of you out there to listen to who may be procrastinating about putting out a collection of tunes under whatever banner it is that you can think of. The most important thing is that you get your act together, you compose your songs, you get together with a producer, and you make it happen. Here's Exhibit A tune titled Losing Your Love from the album My Own Worst Enemy. Again, the artist is From The Haze, and this is a conversation with the fella at the centre of the outfit, James Hulse. The conversation will kick in once a tune is done. Let's go.
Shit again. Hey, now I really would like you to stay, but you're making me throw you away. Now there's nothing more we can say, so I'm losing your loving today.
I often say to people that there is no other dynamic, forget workplaces, forget sports teams, anything else you can think of, clubs like Toastmasters or Scouts even, anything like that, that resemble what it's like being in a band. It's like herding cats, but at the same time, cats that are actively working against you.
Against you, fighting you tooth and nail. Oh, man, that's what I say. Like, I'm like, being in a six-piece rock band, it's like herding fucking cats. Like, exactly. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Yeah, all necessity is a mother of invention, if that is the case. So, My Own Worst Enemy, that's the name of the album, and the band under which you've released, or the moniker at least that you've released My Own Worst Enemy under, is From The Haze. So surely this is this the cuts are strong. Surely there's enough here for you to do your own thing and sort of just bring in a willing cast around you.
That's the plan. Like it's kind of. There's tension in the band because, like, I didn't tell anyone. I just like was chipping away at that my own album. Just a jam gets cancelled, and so I did it anyway. Like I put it out, and I had a producer who helped me. I got to shout out Tate Whitaker. He held my hand the whole way. But yeah, so it's like me and him. Like we're like, all right, like we're doing this new project. We just need to collect people to kind of come on board. So that's the next step.
So these are songs that you had potentially in the can to present to the band, but because the band can't get their shit together, you went, fuck it, I'm going to do my own thing.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what happened. Like My Own Worst Enemy, like the track, like I brought that to the band, and then that was the song that like got me into the band, if that makes sense. Like, I was just a hanger on. I love live music. Like I was just there. And I'm like, oh shit, this is like something I've been working on. And so like our band played it really well. Like that's like a band song, but I wrote. And then I've kind of just like, well, when are we fucking releasing it? Like, I've been here for 2.5 years. Like when are we putting stuff out? Nothing happened. So I took my song back and like, did an album. So, and here we are.
So did you record all of the instruments on the album?
Yep. So I played the guitar and I played some of the bass. The drums are all just programmed drums.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
So programmed drums. I probably did 50% of the bass, and then all the synth and electronic and all the production and all the, effects are all my producer Tate. He pretty much did that. So.
Okay, rightio. And is this something that you guys hooked up with because you already knew each other, or did you have to actively seek him out?
No, so we were friend of a friend via the band, just like, and he was just hanging out, and he heard us play the song My Own Worst Enemy live, and he's like, oh fuck man, like he just went home and started tinkering, and then he showed me that, and he's like, look, this is what we could do. And I was like, oh hell yeah, like it's just a whole option. Like I'm not. Like our dynamic is pretty much I sit in a bedroom, play guitar, write lyrics, formulate structures, that should go there. And then I give it to Tate, and then we record it. And then I go home and listen to it, chip away, change things around, give it back to him. And then while at the same time, he's like tweaking the drums and like adjusting levels and doing all the literally sitting at the computer that I don't have the patience to do,
I get you. Yeah, I can relate to that completely. Okay, so you're a creative. Yeah. He's the technical mind who gets things going for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you plan to do with it then? I mean, the songs are too good for it to just sort of go through to the keeper, so to speak. So are you planning on recruiting a band so that you can do some live performance?
Absolutely. Like, absolutely. Like, I feel like I've been a musician for 10 years, but when people ask you, like, what have you got to show? Like, nothing, like, and so really the catalyst of making the album was like, I want a portfolio. Like I want to show people something. Like I'm so sick of, getting asked a question, oh, you playing the guitar? Like, can you show off some stuff? It's like, yeah. So really like, yeah, the live band is the next, step. Yeah, like, but to answer your question, like I have no plans, it was just, it was like, throwing up, here's this album I've created, and it's just like, well, what do I do? Like now what do I do, So
yeah, no, I get it. Yeah. What about lyrical themes? What are you addressing through the lyrics?
Self-hatred, I mean, it's literally called
Just
my
individual,
exactly. Like, where do you draw from? It's like, oh fuck, I was a real dickhead today. I should write about the usual thing, breaking up with women. I don't know what else. Shit. It usually, like, the theme usually just came back to, like, self, like, go on, be better, do this better, and so that's kind of why I stuck with the my own worst enemy kind of theme, I guess. If that's the right way of putting it.
I think I understand. Yeah. It's always fertile lyrical ground, isn't it, when you start reflecting on your own actions and mistakes and the like, particularly if you've got high self-awareness, which it sounds like you do.
Yeah. And like, it's kind of like, what do people always say? Write what you know.
Yes.
And that's what I know. I know I can be a real dickhead. So, yeah.
So it sounds like you're being a bit hard on yourself. But,
yeah,
but if it works, hey, look, the other thing too, if it works for your lyrics, so be it. If that's some of the greatest music, XTC, Morrissey, these sort of artists, they've always used self-effacing concepts, if you like, to connect with an audience more. And lyrics are music connects with musicians, I find. Do you agree with this statement? Lyrics, absolutely. Though, connect with everybody.
Yeah.
What about you go. Sorry, mate.
All right, I was just gonna say, like, what I have found as well is, like, the respect I get from other musicians, my, like, peers, like, they're like, it's just, I had people say to me, I mean, the fact that you're talking to me right now means I did something right. Like, but, like, really good close friends of mine who I just respect so much is, like, you sit in a room and, like, there's 10 guitar players and you're like, well, he's better and he's technically better, and, just amazing musicians. For them to be like, hey, man, really good songwriting, like, pat on the back, like, very, very impressed. You're like, really? Like, are you talking to me? Like, well, yeah. So it's just been, I'm so glad I did it.
It's not like there's a drought of good songwriters. There's just so much music out there at the moment, more than at any other time. I don't know what the statistic is, but I'm willing to wager that every year more music, brand new to market music, is released than all the years prior. It's just sort of compounding at this point because of all of the avenues being Spotify, Bandcamp.
It's so much easier to create today than it was, even 10 years ago. Like, it's just,
I agree. Yeah.
It's so easy. And if it wasn't so accessible to myself, I don't think I'd be in this situation.
But stocks for songwriters have never been higher, and that was my point there. I listen to a lot of music. I get sent hundreds of new releases a week, literally, and I barely scrape the surface in terms of diving into a lot of it.
Yep.
But that's just because I'm time poor, working, kids, this sort of thing. But the one thing that comes across is the percentage is in the minority where the songwriting stands out. And that's not having a dig at new music. I prefer new music.
Yep.
Okay. But I think we're at a point where I'd really like to see young artists and musicians in particular take some time out, step back a little bit. Don't just fill it up, page up with notes. Actually focus and put some energy into making sure that if you've got, say, enough ideas for, say, 30 or 40 odd songs, how about you make 8 absolutely outstanding songs? Because, and here's the killer, here's the rubber, the point I want to make in amongst all of that, people aren't listening to albums anymore. So if you release an album, it's got to be similar to yours. It's got to be full of hook after hook after hook.
Yep. And I completely agree. I love new music. There are so many great bands just dropping songs every day. Like, I actively search for new music because I'm like, I love the classics. Like, who doesn't? They're classics for a reason. But, it's like going back to the same well. Like, there's so much more to be listened to, and you're 100% right. Nobody listens to albums. Like, I can't remember the last album I listened. Maybe Cool, back in 2018, whenever that album came out.
Fear Inoculum, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was, but after a 15-year wait, I'm like, I'm listening to this album.
Yeah.
But my point is, like, nobody listens. You're right. Like, it's all song, Spotify, and that's what I'm guilty of that too.
That lends itself to why you felt an album was the best medium for you to get your new music out there. Did you think about just, say, releasing a few singles to Spotify instead?
Well, because this is my first release. I was kind of the mind like I've never I play live but I've never shown people my music, and I was like, look, I don't want to just put out one song. I wanted to just here is what I can do. It's almost like a resume, or this is what I can do, and maybe in 8 songs there's one thing that you connects with somebody. That's what I wanted. I just wanted to have a wealth of listenability. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but just instead of just one song putting it out, I just wanted to just dump and run kind of thing. That's what I get. All right, now I don't want to listen to it.
I think it's a good strategy from the perspective that it's out there now. Okay, so if anybody says to you, "What have you got?" and you said, "Hey, go to Spotify and there's 2 or 3 singles," okay, that's one thing. Okay, get a couple of hundred listens, great. But the fact that you've got an album out there, it means that you're capable of creating. It's almost that demonstration for higher learning. You know what I'm saying, around what you're prepared to put yourself, the mindset you're prepared to adopt.
Yep.
Moving forward as a musician, and that'll help you connect with other like-minded musicians. And you mentioned earlier you're out there at Ipswich, is that right?
Yes. So I mean, yes, that's where that's where the live band is, out at Ipswich. Yeah.
Do you find that is that an easy place for you to connect with musicians?
I mean, in the circles I run with, absolutely, because I joined the band, they were already established, they already had connections, but not, it's herding cats, it's yes, I've been rubbing shoulders with excellent musicians for the past 3 years. You're meeting people, like-minded people. You play a gig with 3 other bands. You get to meet 3 other bands. It's great. It's just we just have no discipline. We just cannot pull our finger out.
Yeah, look, I've probably been in a dozen bands, exactly what you just mentioned there. And because it's got nothing to do with talent, it's all down to the work people are prepared to do and what sort of sacrifices they're prepared to make. And believe me, once you have kids, mate, you just actually What I will tell you, mate, is once you have kids, it gets really easy because you begin to suss out people very quickly, whether or not they got their shit together or not, and they're worth your time. So I play covers, you see. So we don't even rehearse. We don't have to. You just learn the song, turn up.
Just learn the song. Everyone comes. They're tight. You know your spot. Yep, absolutely.
We've been playing for 35 years or whatever it is as well. So nobody needs to be told how to play their instrument or what a professional stage setup looks like, this sort of thing, because it's just expected. Now, in saying that, I have jammed with people inadvertently, like I've been invited to things and gone up on stage and looked across at the guitarist or whatever, and they're using some dodgy old amp and they say it's vintage and the tubes are fried or whatever. And it's like, well, it sounds like an AM radio, mate. Fix it.
Yeah, it sounds like a fart. Yeah.
It's like, I don't care what 80s or 70s vintage you think it is or what have you. Okay, the girls that are dressed up to the nines out in the audience in the Valley, they do not care about the gear you are using. Yeah. They just care that you're going to make the sounds that makes them dance.
Yep.
Well, what about influences and inspirations for you? Tell me about them.
Oh, mate. Australian rock and roll, heavy metal. I love prog rock. I love rap. Man, I just love music. I just wanted to make what I wanted to make. I could go down the list of do you have any bands in the background? No, I can't see any bands. But
it absent from mine these days.
yeah. But the influences and I love rock and roll. At heart, I feel like I'm a rock and roller, not a punk rocker, not a heavy metal. I just love classic rock and roll. Cool. That's what I identify myself with. And I guess my music is a little sappy. It's got its moments, a bit tragic, I think somebody's described it as, but it's just the music that came to me. These are the riffs I like. These are the things that I want to say. It's just, how can you just bring it all together and make it listenable, palatable? But
who inspired you to pick up a guitar?
I I remember when I was a kid, my mum put on the Beatles album, like it was like a classic, a greatest hits album. I think it was the blue one when they were all looking down on the
yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
And I just remember listening to that back to back as a kid and just like, I want to do this. Like these songs are amazing, and then it's just grown from there. Like I'd say if you would ask me, Nine Inch Nails, Tool, Grinspoon, Silverchair, that kind of 90s rock is what I cherish most.
I'm hearing it. I can hear that too in your music, but not in a derivative sense. So I can actually hear that it's been an inspiration, particularly early Silverchair, because I can't stand what they did later on.
Yeah.
That poor guy. I actually thought he was faking it there for years, I've got to be honest.
Daniel John, he's insane. Like he's just
literally.
Insane. Yeah.
He's just not all there. Yeah. He's a genius though. I'll give him that. I mean, he's first two albums. So the first album, Frog Stomp, Kevin Shirley.
Best album. Oh my God!
How good is Kevin Shirley? Kevin Shirley got his career with Iron Maiden off the back of that album. By the way.
Right.
Because they listened to the guys in Iron Maiden, listened to that album, went, "This is fantastic, and we need to work with this guy." And that's what happened there. So we can actually thank Silverchair for Iron Maiden's resurgence.
Yeah,
in a
right.
lot of ways.
I didn't know that connection. See, like
huge. Yeah.
Like, if you'd said that to my mate Tate, like my producer, I'm going to call him my producer because that's literally what he did, produce me. He'd be like all over that. But see, I'm the creative. Like I know Daniel Johns, I know Bruce Dickinson. I know the band. I don't know the people behind the scenes. Like and I just want to say it again, like because I can't stop saying it. Like I owe like 50% of this is to Tate. He's the one that was like, do this again. He's the one that produced the thing where I'm just like a scatterbrain of, what about this riff? What about this lyric? I'm just throwing shit at a wall until it sticks and then kind of sifting through it afterwards.
Does he have a studio that you guys work out of, or do you work at each other's houses?
In his bedroom, essentially. He's made a home studio.
Yeah, that's what you need to do these days. The software's all at your fingertips. You talk about 10 years ago, we used to have to go into studios 10 years ago. But these days it's just, if you want to get some polish onto it, there's probably, bigger studios you need to go into because of consoles and plugins and all sorts of other things that are only available natively instead of, apps that you can download or what have you. But, I mean, that was the one thing that struck me was how crystal clear the album sounded, yours.
Oh, yeah, man.
Worst Enemy. Thank
you. And that is all. So I got it mastered. Like I paid to get it mastered because I was like, if I'm going to put all this effort in, like let's do it right. But when we got it mastered, the Cosmic Audio somewhere in England, I'm pretty sure. Like I gave this all to Tate. Like he produced his own album, and like it's very prog, very like prog. But he'd done the process himself, and some of the feedback we got from the master is they're like, it's been mixed perfectly. Like we're not changing any of the levels. Like we're just crystal clearing it. I don't know what they do when they master it. They make it cleaner. But that's all. He's the kind of kid that did his homework. Where I'm the kid that would copy his homework. Because I didn't do it.
Well, it's a bit of a dark art, though, in all fairness to you, around production and getting the sonic qualities of albums correct, because plenty of people watch a YouTube video and all of a sudden they're experts.
Yeah, they're
But it's it is a bit of a dark art. I mean, you talk to the great guitarists like Ian Moss or what have you. Ask them, how do you do what you do? And they say, I don't know. Because it's actually in them. It's something. It's all an expression of creativity, and from that perspective, they've just found their outlet. So instead of Tate, I know you mentioned he's a musician, but it sounds like he's. A lot of the sharper points, if you like, character and his talent, if you like, reveals itself in production.
Oh, absolutely.
Like in songwriting.
Yep.
That happens. So are you going to do videos or anything like that?
Like I'm kind of lost in the sense that like I have no experience or knowledge or where do I go from here? It's there. Like, absolutely. Like, yes, I'll do all that. Tell me where to go. Tell me what to do. It's who do I need to speak to make that happen?
I think you can do most of. I mean, there's those insane. I can't stand those inane lyric videos, to be honest with you, but they're everywhere. But these days, have you probably know all about Premiere Pro, but have you used it much for video editing and creation?
Nope.
Someone like you would probably pick it up within a day, and you could have something done within a month that looked passable. Put it that way.
Yeah.
The only issue around that is that I studied social media marketing at uni, and also social media tactics. And I don't do this, by the way, because I just couldn't be bothered. I do my podcast for whoever finds it. But in terms of getting your music into new audiences, reels and all of that sort of thing on Instagram and TikTok, they're pretty much the only game in town these days, unfortunately.
Yep.
And I know YouTube even throttles, I'm pretty sure it does anyway, I shouldn't say this as a fact, but if you're not doing their shorts, those YouTube shorts, if you're not doing them, they throttle your channel a little bit.
Exactly. Like the algorithm's not going to recommend you. Like, totally. you need to play the content game. Like, I'm not dumb to like the whole, I understand how it all, constantly uploading, constantly, constant content. Like that's how it is. I'm just a dude who sat in a room and made an album. Like, it's where I go from here, or what do I need? Like, I always say to my band, like, because I'm not the newest member of the band, but in the band, I'm like the rhythm guitarist. I'm not front and center. We have a great lead guitarist. We have a bunch of great musicians. Like, I'm just not front and center, and when it comes back to so there's that with the band, but there's also the whole marketing and the promotional side of that. Like, I just want to play guitar. I just want to play guitar and sing. That's what I love to do, and if
Oh, well, see what comes of it then, mate. If that's what you want to do, so be it. And but there's definitely more. There's definitely an audience that I think would appreciate the music that you've got here. That's all. And there's Firestarter. There's a bunch of PR companies out there that you could sort of link in with that do all that work for you for a few $100. I used to do a lot of interviews through them for local Aussie artists, and they aren't artists that sort of set the world on fire either, but they're serviceable. They like what you've got going on.
Yep.
So, mate, is there anything else you wanted to share with the audience before we wrap things up? Is there any questions you think maybe I should have asked you about what you're all about and what you're doing with your music?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to make things that people want to listen to. I make things that I want to listen to. And then be like, hey, that's pretty cool. And if there's a roll-on effect that people appreciate that, then I'm super grateful for that. And I just want to say, like, shout out Tade and shout out The Viable. Check us out, and check out From The Haze. Yes, that's the bit.
Definitely From The Haze, yeah.
See, that was the last thing. Like, we wrote an album, like, we've got the song names, we've got the album title. Like, what do we put it out as? Well, I don't want to do it as James Hulse. That's gay as fuck, I'm sorry. You can't say that.
I'm not safe for work. This program's not safe for work. Say what you want to say.
Oh, fantastic.
No worries.
I wasn't going to put it out of my own name. And so that was the very last thing that we came up with was like, well, what do we call it? And it's just flinging shit at a wall, trying to find something that sticks. From the Haze. Yeah, all right. I can say that a few times. And so, I guess as you said, the next move is to form a live band and try to, just spread the music.
Well, there he is, ladies and gents, James Hulse from the outfit From The Haze. If you like that chat, there are plenty more just like it over at scarsandguitars.com. If you like listening, perhaps you like reading, because I have written a book too. Scars and Guitars Volume 1, Conversations from the World of Heavy Metal and Beyond. Click the link in the banner on the website. You'll be taken to a marketplace of your choice. Download a sample. Always download a sample. Try before you buy, and if you do complete the purchase, hit me up because I want to thank you personally. There's some more information coming up about the book, but before we get to that, I want to bid you a fond farewell. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and I'm the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast series. Until next time, it is a very goodbye for now.
This is Eric Rattan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew Mackay-Smith.
I've been the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast since 2017. The first musician I interviewed for the show was David Vincent from Morbid Angel, and things have just snowballed from there. In all, I've posted almost 650 podcast episodes featuring conversations with many of the leading lights of rock, heavy metal, and beyond. It just got to a point where I thought, I need to write a book about all this, so that's exactly what I did. In Scars and Guitars Volume 1, you'll read a heap of deep reveals and commentary, such as Des Fafara talking about Coal Chamber and why the band will never return.
You know, if you're a band just starting out, you need to hear me. Do not start a band with partners. Ever.
Yeah, wise words there. Sage advice, mate, for anybody.
Don't ever, because I can't go do Coal Chamber right now unless I get others involved.
Phil Anselmo talks about the episode in his career which gives him the greatest sense of accomplishment.
I think the staying power of the fans and the staying power of the songs, you know, whether it's Pantera, Down, or Superjoint, the fans remember the songs.
Alex Skolnick from Testament confirms that, yes, playing the guitar in Ozzy's band is anything but an ordinary gig. Will Silent Oz from Dimmu Borgir write a book? Pa from Sabaton gives advice to people who want to start a band.
Look at the team around you, look at the bandmates. If the guys want to be on the stage, then it's all cool. If the guys want to be backstage, then it's not going to be cool.
Current and former members of Cradle of Filth discuss the band's seminal 90s material. Read about the reaction to George Lynch and Mark from Suicide Silence's comments when they throw shade at then President Donald Trump.
We have this idiotic monster, you know, this egotistical, self-aggrandizing, complete piece of shit in there. I just can't understand how we've gotten to this place.
And yeah, we kicked a hornet's nest with Sepultura. Percussive overlord Gene Hoglan talks about recording with Chuck Schuldiner.
Chuck was always, he was very open-minded, and he was into having his musicians that were playing with him just reach out for the best stuff that they had.
Phil Campbell from Motorhead discusses what it takes to get sober. John Five answers his critics who dismiss his tenure with Marilyn Manson.
You know, my name is John Five, and Manson gave me that name, and I had some of the best years of my life in that band and learned a lot.
And we get the lowdown on Treyarch Zagtoth from those who would know, including his mother. All across Scars and Guitars Volume 1, there are moments of tension, relief, tragedy, exhilaration, and throughout it all, you'll obtain insight that I believe no one else has managed to obtain from many of your favourite artists. So treat yourself. Scars and Guitars Volume 1 is currently available as an ebook with a print edition on the horizon. Follow the links attached and download a sample. I'm sure you'll be compelled to read the whole book.